Kia ora, and welcome to Big Boys Boxing.
I was in the gym the other day. Oh, he's out! He's out cold! Straight to his face!
Oh my goodness!
He's taking a short hook on the inside. Crack! Boom! Look, here comes another one. Here comes another one. 3 punches to the button on the inside. Short compact hook, and that man is marbleized onto the mat.
Kia ora team! So here we are, live for a chilled session, and today we're on StreamYard, as you can see. Something a little bit different, but you'll have to bear with me a bit. I'm not that familiar with how this all works, but we will get it. We will get it. So yeah, a chilled stream today. Pretty much anything goes. A little bit of news kicking around. We'll get to that in a moment once I got my legs on this StreamYard thing. But we'll get it. So I should be able to. There's a link. Drop that for y'all. Anybody who might like to join, that's pinned to the top so it don't get lost. We here. Right, so Derek Chisora is saying no, and Tyson Fury saying sign the contract, but we have some other news about him. He's no longer under Sugar Hill. Not exactly sure why. Maybe it's something to do with Tyson can't get over to the States anymore because he's on the ban list to get into the States. So it is what it is, you know. But I've got this news here. Just let me figure out how to share it. I think I know. There we go. Share a Chrome tab. So this is the one. Just let me see how that looks on there. I don't know how this shit works properly yet, but we'll get there. Give me a sec. So there we go. We got the tab. Okay. Now we want to go full screen for that shizzle. Right, that's it. So this news for Tyson Fury. He's taking on a new coach in Isaac Lowe. So let's have a listen to what he got to say.
Tyson, why have you decided to come back to boxing, and why have you chosen Isaac Lowe to be your coach?
Well, Andy, I've decided to come back to boxing because I can be the first heavyweight champion in history to have 2 trilogies, one with Deontay Wilder and the second one with Derek Chisora. I always said I'd fight Derek Chisora at the end of my career, and here we are, breaking all records again, setting precedents. And why I've chosen Isaac Lowe as my trainer is because when I was with Peter, Isaac's been there. When I was with them, Isaac's always been there. And when I was with Sugar Hill, Isaac's always been there. He's always given me information. He knows me better than anybody on the planet. And we're a great team. We've always been together, and we're going to finish this out together. We've always worked very well together, and here we are about to take on a massive, massive, massive event. Isaac?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's a new challenge for me, and I think, listen, I've been with you all your career, and I think I can put something new together. So looking forward to it, and it's a tough task, but something to look forward to go forward.
Tyson.
So coming back to boxing after a fake retirement for starters. I hope y'all got that sound. Actually, I'm not actually sure how, because I've got different sound settings to standard. Hopefully you got that come through for y'all. Hopefully. So what do I do here? We go stop screen share. Right, there we go. Yeah, look at that. We can put the link up for anybody who may like to join. It's there in the live chat. So yeah, Tyson Fury taking on Isaac Lowe's as main coach. Yeah, like I say, I don't know if Sugar Hill's decided to distance himself from Tyson Fury due to the Daniel Kinahan connection and the ban from the States, or it's just too much of a hassle for Sugar Hill to keep flying over to the UK to train. Or maybe it's just a case of Tyson Fury ain't in a real fight, so Sugar Hill ain't gonna bother. Maybe Tyson doesn't want to pay him. He's trying to get this fight with Derek Chisora, and Derek's going, nah. So I don't know, man. We'll see what happens in the near future with Tyson to see if anything's going to come of this Derek Chisora trilogy fight. Personally, I don't want to see it. You already beat the man twice. Why? Why would you want to do it? Why? I don't understand. I seriously don't understand. In other news, Chris Eubank Jr. and Conor Benn have made that fight. Money grab is the instant thought that comes to my head. Conor Benn's a welterweight, and Chris Eubank Jr. is a super middleweight. Oh no, a middleweight or a super middleweight, depending on which division he wants to fight in, but he's certainly no welterweight. Anyway, the fight's going to be at 156 pounds. So it's effectively a middleweight fight, 2 pounds over the super welterweight limit. Meh. I mean, I'll watch it, but I sure as shit won't be paying for it. It will be a pay-per-view event on the Zone by the sounds of it. Crazy shit. Also, what else is there? There's Deontay Wilder is training again, looking slim. Lots of people are speculating about who he's going to fight next. Many seem to think it's going to be Robert Helenius, but I've got other ideas on that. Robert Helenius has already fought 2 eliminators for the WBA and still hasn't managed to get a fight to get a final eliminator. So he's taking the WBA to court. He wants his shot at least becoming mandatory after beating Adam Kovnarski twice. Now, you know, my theory behind this is Helenius wasn't supposed to beat Kovnarski. They were calling it eliminator the first fight, and if Adam Kovnarski would have won, I'll just about guarantee that Adam Kovnarski would have been named mandatory. But he wasn't, so they called it another eliminator for the second fight. What's up, Stephen? Good to see you in, bro. So yeah, Robert Helenius is chasing the WBA route. I can't see him fighting Deontay Wilder. PBC no longer have options on Robert Helenius. He's a Sauerlands fighter. They had options on him after he beat Kovnarski. So realistically, I don't see that being the comeback fight for for Deontay Wilder. I think it's going to be Andy Ruiz once he takes care of old man Ortiz. I think that's the fight PBC are going to make for Deontay Wilder. As for Tyson Fury coming back, I hope he comes back and fights somebody Worth fighting. No offense to Derek Chisora, he is a warrior. He's always entertaining, but he got well beaten the first time against Tyson Fury, and he no mas the second time around, so it's only going to be worse. And Derek Chisora is definitely on the decline. I can't see why Tyson. Well, actually, the only thing I can think of as to why Tyson Fury wants to fight Derek Chisora is because Derek Chisora is actually a free agent, and there's nobody that will fight Tyson Fury in Frank Warren's stable. I mean, Daniel Dubois might want to fight him, but for whatever reason, maybe Tyson thinks he's not a big enough name. Because let's be real, Derek Chisora does draw a lot of fans because of his character, because of his warrior attitude, and because of how exciting he is to watch in the ring. So, yeah, it is what it is. Tyson Fury talking about he'd fight Anthony Joshua for free and wants everything for free. He's talking so much shit. Nothing that comes out of his mouth can be believed. Seriously. He said he'd retired, and now he's calling out Derek Chisora. Dude's so full of shit. So this weekend, we've got a couple of fights worth mentioning. We've got a couple of dust-ups in the heavyweight division even. Just give me a second here. I'll just find them on BoxRec. Victor Vickhurst is fighting. And another guy is fighting on the same card as well. Igor Shimaniski or some shit. Let me just find it here. It's in Germany, I believe. Give me a sec here. Yeah, it's in Germany. We've got the main event is this. I think it's Ihor, Ihor. How do we say this last name? Shiwidzutsky. I think Shiwidzutsky. he's a 9-0 heavyweight. It's only an 8-rounder, and he's taking on the infamous Kevin Johnson. So, you know, the standard standard opponent for an up-and-coming prospect. Victor Vickhurst, who's 9-0, also known as Victor Faust, is taking on Adam Rodzovic. I've heard that name before, who's 22-6. So there's a couple of fights there. There's no listed media for it, of course. It's quite likely it'll end up on a YouTube channel of some sort. I've seen these German cards pop up on YouTube before. There's also another fight listed on there. Vulcan Gokek. Gokek. Okay, we've got a little pop. That must mean somebody's jumped in. Who we got here? Oh, we got Steven is in.
Yeah.
There you are. You're on, bro. How you going?
Let's go, man. Good, mate.
I'm good. So you're just running through a couple of fights that are happening over the weekend at the moment, but we can finish that up. I'll just finish this last one up I was talking about, and then we get into a chat. Oh, this Vulcan Gokek, who's 9-0, is fighting the almighty TBA. So TBA will win that one, but that's super lightweight fight, and that's the last one on that card. So into some conversation with Mr. Marler. Did you see the news about Tyson Fury and his new coach and calling out Derek Chisora?
Oh, I heard about Chisora. Yeah, I heard about that. What a waste of time, man. The only fight that matters is if he fights Usyk or the winner of Usyk AJ. That's all I care about.
Agreed. Yeah, I can't see why he's doing it. The only reason I can think of is because, Chisora draws a lot of fans in the UK, and it means money, possibly for Tyson Fury, which is pretty ironic considering he keeps going on about doing this for free and doing that for free, and
and he sees it as easy money.
Kia ora.
Oops, sorry. So bit dumb, really, from Tyson Fury.
He just sees it as easy money,
Indeed. The other news that's out is Chris Eubank Jr. and Conor Benn have made that fight between the two at a catch weight of 156. Are you interested in that fight at all?
Yeah. I'm interested in it. I'm interested in Conor Benn just to see how he goes. If he can do well in that, because if he can't beat Chris Eubank, what does that say about him? If he wants to fight these other top guys, he has to be able to get past Eubank.
Yeah, man. Well, Eubank is a middleweight or a super middleweight, though. So,
what does he usually weigh? I haven't watched a lot of him. I've watched a lot of Conor, but
Conor's a welterweight, 147, and
yep.
Chris Eubanks fought at middleweight and super middleweight.
He's a
160 and 168. So that's a big difference.
That's a big that is a big risk for Conor. They must be confident that. I wonder what Conor Benn walks around at when he's not fighting.
Well, we'll have a look at some stats on him, just to see his height and reach compared to Chris Eubank. We'll see how much of a difference there is.
Yeah, Chris is 5'11" and 72.5. And Conor is 5'8". Wow, damn.
So there you go. Has he got a registered reach here as well?
No, it doesn't have that for Conor.
Okay.
But it'll be. You think it would be less than? Hang on. You're 5'8". You'd usually have about a 69-inch reach, 68 inches. So Chris Eubank will probably have 3.5, 4-inch reach advantage.
Yeah, it's quite a big difference. But I guess from Conor Benn's point of view, even if he loses this fight but still makes a good account of himself, it's not going to affect his career at 147, is it?
That's true. So, he can say, well, I was up against a bigger guy and, it didn't work out, so I stepped back to welterweight.
Yeah, well, as soon as I seen the fight announced, the instant thought to me was money grab. Both of them are sons of legends,
Yeah.
And it'll draw a big audience. They're doing a pay-per-view as well there in the UK. So
it is a money grab,
It is a money grab, but if Chris Eubank loses this fight, oh my God, I think he's done.
I think so. He's already had 2 losses, So he loses another one into a guy smaller than him.
If he loses to a welterweight and he's been a prospect for 13 freaking years, what's he gonna do? What's he gonna do next, man?
Yeah, it is over for him,
Yeah, it's crazy. I'd like to see Ben win. A lot of people don't put a lot of stock in Ben. They say he's not ready to take on anybody decent at 147. I was kind of hoping he might take on a Virgil Ortiz or a Boots Ennis or even a Keith Thurman.
I was about to say Keith Thurman. I think that would be a good fight for him. It's a step up, but not too wild a step up. And Thurman's look vulnerable to the body. So if Conor could get to him and get him to the body and take him out, because Conor's ranked 4th with the WBO and Thurman's ranked 3rd. So that'd be a nice little test for him to fight Thurman. Jump up a little bit in the rankings. And
just for information here, Gargantua says Ben says he walks around at 160. So 160 plus even. I mean, that's kind of fat for a welterweight, isn't it? Somebody's 5'8". You know,
Yeah, 160. Boy, that's
I'm only
That's-
a shorter, mind you. Yeah, I'm only a short ass myself. I'm about 5'8", and I walk around at about 170. So
yeah.
I guess I'm a fatty. But
Yeah.
yeah, I'm in
But
my 40s, so I got an
yeah,
excuse.
he's a young athlete, so he should be a bit trimmer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll watch it. I certainly won't be paying for it though myself.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Yeah, it's certainly it is a good. The UK, I like the UK fights. They put on a show and the crowd get into it so much. There's a real atmosphere at UK fights, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
I do
Definitely.
enjoy watching them. But,
Yep. Definitely get behind their fighters, don't they?
They
It's good to
do,
see.
man. Yeah. I just can't stand what's that commentator, the the idiot cruiserweight. What's his name?
Belling.
He got value. Value.
Yeah, the
Tony
belly.
Value. Jesus, mate. I remember when he was saying about Parker, he's looking sorry for himself against AJ, but then when he fought Usyk, he looked pretty sorry for himself too, man. He got poleaxed.
He did. Yeah, well, you know, most fighters who'd caught the massive headbutt and it got called a knockdown would be feeling sorry for themselves, particularly if they're concussed as well.
Yeah, man.
That is what it is.
Yeah.
That's got no. When it comes to Tony Bellew commentating UK fights with a UK fighter against a foreigner, he's just so one-eyed. It's not funny.
It's not worth listening to him.
No,
it's just not worth listening to a word he says, man.
Yeah, indeed. Right. So I did also notice now that this fight has been announced between Ben and Eubank, Keith Thurman's piped up to Conor Ben and said, "Send me a contract now that he's got a fight." That's a bit.
Who has?
Keith Thurman.
Oh, Keith Thurman. Oh, he's just capping, eh?
Yeah. As soon as somebody's got a fight, he calls them out.
Yeah, man.
Idiots.
Jesus. There was talk about him fighting Errol Spence, but now they're still talking about having Crawford and Spence November, December. It's just like that. I do not want to see Spence fight Thurman. If he fights Thurman, that is just such a letdown, man. You know Spence will destroy Thurman.
It's kind of disappointing, you know. They were saying this fight's almost done, and then I remember when Golovkin and Canelo 3 got announced for September 5th or whatever it is. Somebody from the PBC side said Canelo Triple G needs to move off that date because we're going to take that date. And I'm like, well, you haven't even got the fight made. You haven't agreed terms, and you're trying to get Canelo's name in your mouth just to try and get some attention. I mean, get the fight made, worry about your own shit before trying to, get someone else's name in your mouth. It was bullshit. So
because they're not listening to the pulse of the fans. A lot of people are saying about this Crawford Spence fight, if it doesn't happen this year, they just don't care anymore. You know,
it's getting to that point.
Yeah, they've marinated this fight to the point where it's coming to the end. they better do it or make it this year or else. All I want to see happen, if they don't make this fight this year, I want the WBO to order Crawford to fight Ortiz or he's stripped. I want the IBF to order Spence to fight Boots Ennis or he's stripped. Either these two guys get in the ring or get out of the way.
I like the way you think, man. The way you think.
You know, the welterweight division, it's just going nowhere right now because of Crawford and Spence. You know, their shit is holding up everybody else. It's terrible.
Yep. I mean, it's a good fight. It's a big fight. We've wanted to see it for so long. It seems like they're trying to do a Manny Pacquiao and Floyd Mayweather.
Yeah, man. Exactly.
The fact is, neither of these guys anywhere near the caliber of either of those fighters, what they were at the time. So, I mean...
And people don't know who they are as much. You know, Floyd and Pac were superstars.
Exactly. Global superstars,
Global
not just in
superstars.
America. Yeah.
Yep.
I'm not trying to say Spence and Crawford aren't great boxers, and they could potentially be all-time greats down the track, but got to keep it real at the same time. Get the fight made, get a date made early so no one else pinches your date, and let's get this fight happening. Get the division moving as well, because, like you say, it's holding everything up.
Yeah, man.
Big time. So, yeah, it is what it is. I'm on the wrong window here, trying to do shit and it's not working. Give me a sec here. Playing with this StreamYard today is try and give anybody an opportunity who doesn't have Discord to jump on if they wish to. But there is a downfall because I'm a little bit new to the software. It seems really restrictive to me, but it is what it is.
Good news about Parker and Joyce.
Yeah, Parker and Joyce. I was actually pretty surprised that they got that made. I wasn't surprised that it's going to be on BT because Frank wasn't going to let Joyce go anywhere else. As soon as Parker signed that boxer contract, he was like, doors shut. That's it. So, I've said it once already, but I'll say it again. Big ups to Ben Shalom for, making it happen. He's the one who made the compromise. I wish more promoters and networks would do this to get the fights that we need, because this is number one and number two. That's what we need. Competitive, top of the division fights, man.
Yep. I mean, I think, and for Parker, I don't think he can knock out Joyce whether Parker comes in at 250 or 237. So I want him to come in light to have maximum hand speed, foot speed, and maximum stamina so that he doesn't gas out. Because if he gasses out, he's going to get stopped. He has to be able to go 12, fight at a good pace, and look to just piece Joyce up and beat him on points. I
agree. That's how he's got to do it. If he is gonna get a stoppage, I think either way. Well, like you say, a Parker getting stopped would be due to his gas tank. But if Parker's going to stop Joyce, it's going to be a referee stoppage. I can't see him knocking Joyce out. To them. No.
Joyce got that chin, man. So I just think Parker's going to have to fight, as I've said before, like Evander Holyfield against Foreman.
Yeah.
Use speed, movement, skills, putting those combos on and piecing them up, and go the 12 and get a points decision. That's his best chance. Yeah, if he gasses out, man, Joyce is going to be on him. He's just going to pound him.
Yeah, I agree. It's certainly going to be interesting, though. I'm not making any picks at this point. I've got to have a real hard think about it because I think it's a legit 50-50 fight. We know what the Juggernaut's going to do, and all of it's going to depend on how Joseph's going to fight, I think. So
yeah. I like Joseph. Joseph has made. I was skeptical if Parker could improve even with a new trainer, but I think he has.
I agree. He has improved, and what was it? 3 or 4. Oh no, it was more like 5 months between the two Chisora fights. The first fight he had only had 8 weeks with Andy Lee. He had a few months with him after that, and we saw the improvement. Now is there going to be the same level of improvement over the same amount of time? If there is, I think Joe Joyce could be in a bit of trouble. But where's Parker's ceiling is the question too. How much more can he improve?
That's right. He's got to bring it's Joyce's jab's the scary thing, eh? He smashed Dubois with it. Yeah, Parker's going to have to get past that jab.
And we know many people are talking about it, but Joe Joyce is 37 years old, as James Jameson says in the chat. So
that's true.
How much can Joe Joyce improve? I mean, that last fight I saw against Christian Hammer, Joe Joyce was actually doing a bit of good inside work, and you hadn't seen a lot of that from him in the past. So if he can use some of that against Joseph Parker, that could be a problem too, because Joe's inside game isn't great. But once again, we did see some improvement with that against Chisora in the second fight, didn't we?
Yeah, and it's true. And it's even Carlos Takam was having some success against Joyce, and he's a wash, Carlos Takam.
Well, until Takam got knocked out, he was winning.
Yeah.
He was winning that fight easily.
I do have some hope for Parker, you know. He's giving up, what's Parker's reach, 76 or 78?
It's listed as 76, but it's actually 78. They took measurements when he fought Anthony Joshua, and you'll see the tail of the tape on that one is.
Oh, yep. Because Joyce's 80 got an 80-inch, so it's only 2 inches. It's not a big reach advantage.
Yeah. Yes, and how many fast fighters has Joe Joyce fought? I think the closest thing to a fast fighter that he's fought at a decent level would be Bryant Jennings, and Bryant Jennings was winning that fight as well for quite some time. So, like you said, it's going to be that gas tank for Parker. It's going to be the telling factor.
I'm just looking at Joyce's record, and he hasn't really fought a guy like Parker with that quickness and the combination punching. So Parker's got a good chin, so that's the gas tank for Parker, man. That's the only worry I have. I don't worry about his chin, his skills, speed. He's got more experience than Joyce has. It's just having enough stamina to just be strong through the fight.
I've gone back to it before too. The last time I saw Joe Joyce fight a really fast, skilled fighter was Alexander Usyk in the World Series of Boxing, and he lost every round in that fight. It was only 5 rounds, and this will be 12. So, it is what it is. It's going to be interesting. Yeah. I'm really looking forward to it.
Me too.
Both guys are going to prove themselves in this fight.
And then the winner gets the winner of Usyk and AJ.
Well, if they still hold the belts, If the winner doesn't vacate or whatever, if unless they fight Fury, the winner. It could end up the winner of Joyce and Parker fighting for undisputed.
Man,
who knows?
Yeah, be awesome. Have you seen the photos of Usyk? He's looking big.
He is
coming in to bust AJ up.
Yeah, and heard rumors about his sparring as well. He's sending a lot of people home because they can't keep up.
Wow. Yeah.
So he's on a mission, man. He's on a hell of a mission. And, he wanted to stay in Ukraine and fight, but everybody was telling him, go do it for the country. Even his wife said go.
Yeah.
So he's got the whole country behind him, and he knows that's a big motivator for him to fight for the name of his country, who are in turmoil at the moment. So
I can't see him. The closer I get to the fight, I'll be surprised if he loses. If AJ's got 8 rounds, in my opinion, to get Usyk out of there. If Usyk's still standing at the end of the 8th and he's in good condition, I think AJ's gone.
Yep, I agree. I did see some pictures of AJ as well, though. He's looking like he's in pretty good shape and pretty motivated as well.
And that's the thing. You can't underestimate AJ. I mean, he's a very professional. Some people like him, some people don't. He's a very professional fighter with a competitive streak. It does matter to him. He doesn't just show up to get paid. He wants to win his fights, and no one can accuse him of. Some people like to say he's heartless and all that sort of thing. I've never thought he was, because if he was heartless, he would have stayed down against Klitschko.
Yeah,
he wouldn't. He wouldn't.
Yeah, or after the second time he got knocked down against Ruiz, he would have given up.
That's right. He that first round, man, that third round, he was absolutely smashed going back to his corner. But he still came out and he kept trying until he just had no answers left. So I don't think he's heartless, but I just feel like Usyk, the skill level, the skill level's just a bit higher. He's been boxing longer, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
His ability to adapt is a massive one for me too. On the fly, Usyk can change game plans, make small adjustments, and it's like water running through a tube for him. Whereas AJ seems like he's got to stop and think a lot harder about how he's going to change things up. It doesn't really come naturally to him.
Yeah, he's not as fluid. No, he's not. He's not.
But it's still, I think that one's still a 50-50 fight as well, regardless of what, everyone seems to think that Usyk easily won the first fight. But go back and look at the pictures of his face after he won that fight.
I know. I was looking at that the other day. I saw a photo of him. He had taken some leather. I had the fight 8-4 to Usyk. But he took some shots. And the thing is, AJ's jab failed him in the first fight. It really, I thought it was going to play a big role in the fight, and it didn't. If he could get in there and really throw his jab put some meat on it, really throw it like he means it, and mix it up with some double jabs, jab to the head, jab to the chest, feint with it a bit, so it's not predictable, so it'll be harder for Usyk to counter his jab. And then when he's throwing that jab, throw combinations off the jab. If he can fight like he's the bigger man, actually believe in himself. And I know there's a risk he could get hit with a counter, but he could also land some big shots and win the fight. If he can go in with a bit more attitude, you can't count the guy out.
Yeah. Well, in that first fight, it seemed like he was poking the jab out there and trying to get his hand back before he got countered. He wasn't stepping into the jab because he was worried about what he was going to get hit with. And that tells me that, Usyk doesn't seem to sit down on his punches a lot, but what he was landing was still getting a 6'6", 3-belt unified champion's respect for him to worry about what was coming back. So I think Usyk still hits hard enough. Sure, he's not the biggest puncher in the world, but you look how he punches as well. He doesn't commit too much to punches because he's trying to use his speed and trying to use his movement.
I think he's one of those fighters. He will commit to the punch when it's on to commit. When he sees his man shook, then I think you'll see him commit. He'll put some leverage on his punches. And I think AJ is he knows he can be stopped. Unfortunately, I think that Ruiz beating did leave it affected his psyche a bit. A lot of people have said that. I agree with it.
If I was AJ, I'd be thinking, I was trying whatever I changed up. I'd maybe had some success for a round or two, and then he adapted and got on top of me again. So what am I going to do? And I guess this is where Robert Garcia is going to come in. He's a master tactician. However, he's never done it with heavyweights before. So that'll be interesting to see how that combination goes as well. Especially also having Angel Fernandez in the corner as well. So it's definitely an interesting fight. Yeah. And
I'll go, mate. Go.
Yeah, I was finished anyway, mate. Where you go?
AJ's he just needs to bring confidence and aggression. He has to believe in himself because the way I look at it for him, he's got everything to gain. And look, if he loses this fight, a lot of the casuals are going to abandon him. Right? So he's had 2 losses already. He loses this, it's a 3rd loss. He's got heaps of money in the bank. He's not broke. So, you might as well just throw everything into this fight. Just go for it, man. Be confident, be aggressive, and look to bust him up. Fight like you're the bigger man. And if you get stopped, well, you don't need the sport. You're not broke. You're not a beggar. He can walk off and do something else.
Not only that, if you lose, nobody can say that you haven't got a heart and you didn't try, because you did your darndest to try and get this man out of there.
That's
and
right.
It didn't
that's
work.
Right. Yeah.
But
no. I just don't want to see him. I would rather see him go in there with maximum aggression, confidence, believe in himself, be the bigger man, come forward and look to beat down on the smaller man. And if it doesn't go his way, as you say, no one's going to be able to say, "Oh, you're a bitch," or it's just Usyk was better than him.
Yeah,
that's all it comes down to. There's no shame in that. As long as if he's a warrior in there, there's no shame.
And
I
you never know. It might come off. He might knock Usyk out. And then what are people going to say?
Yep, he hits Usyk on the jaw. He lands that picture-perfect bomb, and he wins the fight. Yeah, that's right. What are people going to say, man? He's back in business. I just don't want to see him go out timid. It would be so sad to see him lose this fight and retire, and his last fight he went out timid.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. That would suck. There's no
really
shame in going out a warrior, man. It just
No, it's right. It's right. And if you've got that motivation and you're that hungry to get your belts back, that's the kind of attitude you got to have. You got to kill or be killed. Otherwise,
you can't have that mindset. I better not put any steam on my jab because I might get hit with a counter, mate. You got to believe you're not going to get hit with a counter. You've got to believe in your jab, and you got to throw it because you got a 4.5-inch reach advantage. Man, you should be able to get some supremacy with that jab, and that's going to set up your combinations. You're going to be able to dictate the terms of the fight. So he's got to believe in his jab. He's got to throw it like he means it, man.
Yeah, and even to start with, if Usyk's going to try and use head movement to slip those jabs, throw it to the chest and step right through it because you can't get away from those. You simply can't. And make him respect the jab. Make him think about, shit, I got to make sure I don't get hit with this because it's hurting.
Yeah, man. Yeah. When you paw with it, when you're only pity-patting with it, he doesn't care about it.
No, he's expecting the right hand too. He knows you're trying to set up the right hand, but if you stepping right into that jab and making sure it lands, he's got to worry about the first shot. And then you got your second shot that he's not thinking about that you can put him behind it.
That's right. Then you come back with a hook, things like that. He's just, I was so surprised when in the first fight, I actually picked AJ to win the fight and I based it on his jab. I really thought he was going to be able to, I didn't think it would be an easy fight, but I thought he could pull it out and get a decision based around his jab. And his jab was a non-event. His jab was useless in that fight. That really surprised me. So hopefully this time round, he can really make his jab count because I think it'll help him a lot.
Yeah. I was a little surprised he wasn't going downstairs a lot more in the early rounds as well, particularly after everybody saw what the bodywork does to Usyk when he fought Derek Chisora. Now, don't get me wrong. I know very well Anthony Joshua is not Derek Chisora, and he can't keep up that kind of aggression and pace for a whole 12 rounds. But if you start off with a bit of heavy stuff to the body, it's going to slow the quicker man down earlier. And that's the kind of thing he's got to think about and follow through with. But it's a great fight, man. I'm looking forward to it.
I agree with Kevin here. AJ has to work the uppercut in somehow. He does. And one thing, you can also tie the uppercut in with the jab. If you're using the jab and you're using your you got your reach advantage working for you, you can start to frustrate your opponent. And then when they start trying to lunge in, then you can bring the uppercut in on them. So I think if AJ can make his jab successful, that's gonna help him use his uppercut.
Yep. He's got to make sure he's close enough though.
Yeah.
If he's not close enough, it's a real dangerous shot to throw against
Douglas Holyfield,
Yeah. It's definitely an effective punch for him though. If he can manage to push Usyk around a bit, take him out to the body a bit, slow him down, and then get close enough to land a big right uppercut, it could definitely do the job in one shot. So, great fight. Looking forward to it. There's a couple of other decent fights on there as well. Of course, we've got the IBF eliminator between Zhili Zhang and Filip Hrgovic.
Yep, that's a goodie.
I think it's going to be a bit more entertaining than people think,
Oh, yeah, man. When I heard it, I was excited about it. They can both crack,
Well, he's not called the Big Bang for no reason as Zhili Zhang. He's got a hell of a left hand on him. And he's not no scrub. Yeah, he's almost 40 years old, or he's 38 or 39. But don't forget he was an Olympian. I think he was a bronze medalist. Might have been a silver medalist, can't remember. But he's got a decent amateur pedigree as well. He beat Joseph Parker in the amateurs. He beat quite a few people in the amateurs if you go check out his box rec. as long as he doesn't have any dehydration or kidney failure problems like he did against was it Jerry Forrest. As long as he's got his nutrition and everything underway, then he's got a shot at least. I'd still call it a 70-30 fight in my opinion. But Filip Hrgovic, he isn't exactly defensively responsible. He hasn't had to be. He hasn't had to be throughout his career so far. So yeah, this is going to be interesting. What are your thoughts on it, man?
Oh well, I watched one of Hrgovic's fights. I can't remember who it was, but he was getting hit with right hands. Yeah, he didn't look defensively sound, and Zhang, he can crack. He's a big guy, and he can really crack, man. So yeah, you can't count him out in the fight. I really like it. I was just wondering, what's his chin like? Do you know?
He's been dropped a couple of times. Is Zhili Zhang?
Yeah.
Who was it who dropped him? Oh, I might have to look at his record to refresh my memory. If someone in the chat wants to remind us, who was it who dropped him? Somebody of not much note. I have to look it up. Zhang Boxrick. Wasn't Joel Goodall or something like that. Scott Alexander? Was it Scott Alexander? No, it wasn't. It wasn't Craig Lewis. It wasn't Jerry Forrest, even though he came out with a draw in that fight. Who was it? Devin Vargas? No, it wasn't him. Andre Rudenko? No. Shit. Don Hainsworth. Or it might have been Don Hainsworth.
It should be on Boxing Rick. I'm just finding his
Brian Corley, no. Nick Guivas, no. Curtis Harper, no. It was either Scott Alexander or was it Devin Vargas? I can't remember exactly who it was. I know
I'm looking at Zhili Zhang. Hang on. It should say if he goes Forrest down. Zhang, no. I'm just going through it.
Scott Alexander. Have a look at this one. Usually has something in the wiki part or something, doesn't it? Oh, it's got no details there.
Zhang down against John Goody.
Oh, it was one good.
One good.
Okay. Yeah. One good. Yeah, I remember. Now, he got dropped, but he got up and I think he still won that fight by knockout, didn't he? One good. Where is it? Yeah, so it's a real interesting fight, I think. Kind of disappointing that so many guys ducked Hrgovic, but you know, when you don't have much of a money-making profile, it's always going to be a case people aren't going to want to fight you, whether you're for a mandatory or not. But at the same time, the IBF is the most stringent with their mandatories and everything like that. So if you get to a mandatory spot, you're guaranteed a shot when your time is ready. So I would have liked to have seen Parker take on Hrgovic. I would have liked to have seen Hunter take on Hrgovic. So many fighters that could have taken that fight, but they just didn't.
I think Parker would have had actually a better chance against Hrgovic than Joyce.
Well, yeah. Quite possibly. I think Hrgovic and Joyce fought in the Olympics and Joyce got the decision. But
it's amateurs, I suppose. You never know, in the pros.
I'm pretty sure that was a rip-off too. I think Hrgovic won it, but they gave it to Joyce as well. I can't remember. Yeah. But yeah, that's another great fight on the card. And we've also got another heavyweight fight on there. Andrew Tabiti is coming up from cruiserweight to take on Tyrone Spong, the undefeated ex-kickboxer. I think that's going to be an awesome fight too. Andrew Tabiti's no joke at cruiserweight even.
I haven't watched much of him.
He fought in that the first cruiserweight WSS tournament, World Series of Boxing, World Super Series. Let me find him here. Where is he? Andrew Tabiti. Here he is.
Oh, yeah, yep, Andrew.
He's 19-1. I think his only loss was to, is it Gassiev?
I don't watch a lot of cruiserweights. A lot of people don't, It's
it's a kind of, it was Yonier Daughter because he lost to via KO in the 10th out of 12 rounds. That was in the World Series of World Super Series, the first cruiserweight one. But oh wow, Tyrone Spong isn't on there anymore.
No, to
It's
be announced.
TBA now. That's interesting. It was Tyrone Spong. Okay. Andrew Tabiti hasn't fought. Oh, yeah, he has fought. He fought in April. Yeah, he fought in April this year. That's interesting. I didn't know. Didn't even know he'd been fighting again. I thought he was out for a long time. He fought again last year in December as well. Against Mitch Williams. Okay, well that's a real shame that Tyrone Spong wasn't on there as well. I thought it was a little bit weird too because Tyrone Spong was supposed to be fighting Alexander Usyk, and apparently popped dirty, so he got dropped in what's his name? That first guy that Usyk fought in the heavyweights ended up in his place. But it turns out that there was something up with the drug tests and he was actually clean. And Tyrone Spong came out accusing Eddie Hearn of tampering with the fucking drug tests. So it was kind of a surprise to me that Spong ended up on a Matchroom card after accusing Eddie Hearn of tampering with drug tests. So now he's disappeared again. Maybe Eddie decided, nah, I'm not going to give you a chance. That is what it is,
man. Shit.
You got to watch what you say sometimes. We've also got Callum Smith is fighting on the card. He's at super middleweight now.
Yep.
No, he's not at super middleweight. He's at cruiserweight now. Sorry, and he's fighting. How do we say this one? Nathayu Budaligwa. Don't know. He's 21-1 as well. Callum Smith is 28-1. So that could be an interesting fight at cruiserweight. And of course, we've known Badu Jack is going to be on the card for some time. He's been fighting over there in Dubai for some time under his own promotional banner. He's fighting Richard Riviera. That could be an interesting fight. Riviera is 21-0. And that's, I think it's a light heavyweight fight, is it? Oh, no, it's cruiser. Buddy Jack's moved up. Who else have we got here? Ben Whitaker. We saw him out a week or two ago for his professional debut.
Oh, yeah.
He's fighting the almighty TBA. So all the rest of them are TBAs. But we've got... it looks like there's some local fighters from Saudi at the bottom of the card. So they'll be the ticket sellers.
Saudi, the atmosphere lacks in Saudi, eh?
Compared to the UK,
yeah,
it's night and day, isn't it?
Yeah. They don't know how to get loose.
Yeah, it's kind of like watching fights in Japan. They're so polite and respectful.
They're very controlled, eh?
Yeah, it doesn't really create that hype atmosphere, like you see in the UK, and even some fights in the States are like that as well. So we'll see, but that's on here. It'll be on the 21st on the Sunday morning. Damn it, my mother's just bought a new house and wants to move house that day. I was like,
Oh, damn it. Yeah.
Can we do it in the afternoon?
Yeah,
Can
man.
we do it on the Saturday? Fuck. I'm not
I'm
missing
really
that.
pumped about the fight. It's going to be exciting. Week and a half, isn't it?
Yeah, man. What's our date today here in New Zealand? It's the 10th. A couple of days until my birthday. Yay. But yeah, so we got 11 days to go. 11 days, a week and a half. Looking forward to that. And then what else have we got for heavyweights that's coming up besides Joe Parker and Joe Joyce? I don't know of anything else too decent.
There's a good female fight on the 10th of September. Savannah Marshall against Shields, Clarissa Shields.
There's two of them. There's also Michaela Mayer and Alicia Baumgartner on that card. They're both on that card. I'm looking forward to that fight. I hope Savannah Marshall wins. I really want to see Clarissa Shields' big mouth punch through the back of her head, to be honest.
I do too, man. I want to see her get a fucking ass beat.
She's a polarizing character, and she's a bit
man.
like Deontay Wilder sort of style.
Yes, she is. She is. If she pisses people off, talks
so much shit, and it's cringeworthy, a lot of the stuff that comes out of her mouth. So, yeah, I'm hoping Savannah Marshall can shut her up. But I don't care who wins, to be honest. But I'd really like to see Shields' mouth shut up. That's the main.
Yeah, that's how I feel. That's exactly how I feel about it, eh? Yeah. I don't particularly like either fighter. Like, I'm not, into hardcore into either one of them. But, yeah, I just want to see Clarissa get hammered.
Oh, we're nasty characters, aren't we? We're nasty characters. Oh, here's an article. Clarissa Shields. I will show why I am the GOAT against Marshall. Nah. Yeah. What else have we got here? The Conor Benn, Chris Eubank fights made. Xavier Fernandez.
Bivol and Beterbiev will be a great fight if it happens.
Yeah, if it gets to it. It's a bit interesting to see what Dimitri Bivol's going to do, because the WBA have ordered him to face as mandatory in Zurdo Ramirez, who holds the WBA regular title. But apparently Eddie Hearn is trying to apply for an exemption so Bivol can fight in-house against Joshua Boazzi.
Yeah.
Personally, I'd rather see the Zurdo fight. Boazzi hasn't deserved a shot to me as yet. But
no, I'm not convinced about Boazzi.
Zurdo is a different kind of fighter. It's possible to me that he could beat Bivol. And that would mess things right up, and that would really play into Bob Arum's hands. Bivol was trying to get a fight with Beterbiev before Canelo, and Bob Arum was saying, well, Beterbiev's not going over to DAZN because nobody watches it on a stupid app, for starters. Never mind that ESPN Plus is a stupid app as well.
yeah. Fucking hell.
And Bob says he's a boring fighter, but since he's beaten Canelo, Bob's tune has changed. He's not saying Bivol's a boring fighter anymore, and he's saying he'd like to get Beterbiev the chance to fight for Undisputed. So, but I think Bob really wants Zurdo to win because he doesn't want to give Eddie Hearn anything. He hates Eddie Hearn. He'd much rather work with Oscar De La Hoya, even though he's still with DAZN, but it's not
Hearn's, Hearn's the English competition.
Yeah.
They can't stand him, eh?
He's the young upstart that's started from nothing and stepping on Bob and Uncle Al's territory.
Yeah, man.
So-
Yeah. No, I like the zone, eh? I got a 65-inch, smart TV, and shit, man. I got my DAZN app on the TV. I just click on it, boom, fights come up. Fucking
Yeah.
great, man.
Comes through
DAZN
clear as their
Yeah,
productions
DAZN
are not too
DAZN
bad.
runs yeah, they run a professional thing. I mean, I think I don't know why people are so down on them. As long as they're
No.
putting on good fights, hey, cool, man. Like I watched the fight the other day. You had Ortiz fighting. It was a good fight. Blair Cobbs had a good fight. I enjoy watching Blair Cobbs. He's got his critics, but shit, he shows up to fight.
He does.
Yeah.
I was pissed off at Maurice Hooker in that one.
Yeah, I think I picked Hooker to win that. I think.
I think everybody on the prediction league did. No one picked Cobbs, but if it was a Maurice Hooker of 2 years ago, I think he should have beaten Blair Cobbs easy, but he didn't turn up to fight, man. He had no jab. His legs were slow as molasses.
God, he was walking into punches. I
Yeah.
thought it was going to end early. I actually thought, Jesus, he's going to get taken out in 3 or 4 rounds. It's not going to last long at all. I was surprised he sort of picked himself up a little bit and got a little bit more competitive as the fight went on. But shit,
Too late. Yeah.
yeah,
I thought he deserved to get stopped. Look, Cobbs dropped him 3 times in the first 3 rounds or some
I
crazy
know
shit.
he did. Yeah, that's what I mean. I thought this fight's over. I was really surprised when it sort of kept going.
Yeah. But congratulations to Blair Cobbs. He did what he needed to do. He got the dominance early on, and then he just cruised the rest of the fight. He didn't have to do squat.
No, he knew he was in control. He didn't need to risk go.
Yeah. Smart man. And he was fighting a man who couldn't make weight as well. He was fighting a much bigger man. So smart on Blair Cobb's part. But he's another dude that I want to see. Well, I already seen it actually. Alexis Rocha knocking him out last time.
Yeah.
Gave me great satisfaction. I'm not a fan of these big mouths.
No, you do like to see them get hammered, eh?
Yeah. But
love
I've got to
to
give
hate
him
them,
his
mate.
props when he did the job like he did. So
Yeah. Hey, did you
well
hear
done.
about is Regis Prograis fighting Jose Zepeda?
Oh, that'd be good.
Yeah, I
That'd be
heard
good.
some people were talking about it, and
Oh,
it'd be a great fight if it happens.
he's a Peter. That dude's had a tough run. He's fought like 4 eliminators, as Jose Zepeda, to get back to a title shot. Apparently he's mandatory. There's nothing on BoxRec.
No.
I wonder if I just Google it.
Yeah, I hope it happens, eh? It'd be a good fight.
It'd be great. Zepeda's got a new type of mentality with boxing, not so much stick on the outside and just do what you need to do. He's ever since that Baranchik fight, and he's tried to step on the gas a bit more. He's been a hell of a lot more exciting. He's been a lot more vulnerable, as we saw against Baranchik, but hell of a lot more entertaining. So I'm keen to see that fight because Prograis is a really good 140 fighter, isn't he? So
Yeah, he's
was he
really good.
lightweight?
He's 140.
He is at 140. Zepeda's at 140.
I mean, Teofimo Lopez is coming back at 140, so he's going to have a tough time at 140. Not going to be easy for him at all. You got Taylor.
I don't know, man.
Prograis, Adderall, Zepeda. Is it Ramirez?
There's a fair few fighters there, but
Yeah.
I was watching some Teo fights last night actually because he's fighting this weekend, and he does a lot. He's been sparring with the likes of Sean Porter up at 147. A lot of guys at 140 he'd already been sparring against, so he knows what he's in for.
Yeah.
These are in his real early days too. So
And he is a talented fighter, Teofimo. You don't beat Lomachenko if you don't have talent.
No.
So I mean, he wasn't using his jab against Kambosos. He went crazy in there. He just fought a really dumb fight. So hopefully he can just learn from that and do
I think
better.
he's his own worst enemy. is Teofimo Lopez with his attitude. He lets his confidence turn into arrogance, and he believes everything. You know, he thought he could just walk in there and walk all over George Kambosos, and
Yeah.
he didn't fight anything like what we've seen him fight like in the past.
There
Wasn't-
was no thought in what he was doing. There was no ring IQ.
No,
He just fought so stupid. He just come in, tried to blast Kambosos out, and Kambosos took his best shots in that first round, and he knocked him down. And he looked shell shocked when that happened. You know, he was shook, man. Kambosos was beating him to the punch. Yeah, so I mean, hopefully he can pick himself up. I'd love to see him get someone to help train him rather than just his dad, because his dad was insane in that corner.
yeah,
You're doing great. You're winning, man. It's like, what the fuck? What fight are you watching, man?
you know, quite often you see fighters be trained by their father for some time, and when they get to a certain level, the coaching just doesn't seem to be that effective, and it's time to move on to a real coach. Sometimes it's different with the likes of Popachenko and what's Sean Porter's dad. You know, there's a few guys that are really good at coaching right up to the best you can be, but I mean, you just got to listen to Teofimo Senior, how he speaks. He's delusional, and it rubs off on Teo. It rubs off on Teo.
It does. When he was sitting in the corner telling him he was winning the fight, and I was sitting there looking at him like, what the hell? Mate, there's no way he's winning the fight. You know, and then after the fight, they were both standing there talking smack. And it was just like, oh, shit, man.
Yeah.
And his own fans started booing him. They knew he lost.
Yeah, you
It was
can't
terrible.
tell your fighter what they want to hear. You got to tell your fighter what they need to hear, regardless whether they're your father or not, or your son or not.
Yeah.
You know?
It was like when Crawford was fighting Sean Porter. Like, I didn't think Crawford was behind, but his corner thought he was, and they said to Crawford, "You're behind," and Crawford went, "Really?" And they said, "Yeah," and he said, "Okay." Then he went out there and started blasting him. So you got to tell him the truth.
Yeah, I thought that fight was close-ish. You know, I did think Crawford was ahead, but if there was going to be any type of fuckery on the cards, I could see what's his name, Bomac. Bomac trying to make sure that there's not going to be any kind of fuckery. So he's pushing his fighter to go a bit harder, and he probably knew that he'd end up getting a knockout, you know?
Yeah. Playing with his mind, eh?
Yeah. With regards to Teo, I've just seen an article here. We're talking about how the delusion seems to rub off on Teo Jr. from Teo Sr. There's an article titled here, "People can call me delusional, but I am the greatest of my era." And you know, this type of delusion comes from the father, and this is the type of attitude that I think it's crossing the line between confidence and arrogance. And that when it gets to arrogance and he starts believing his own arrogance, it's going to get him in trouble. He's going to end up doing the same sort of thing that he did against Kambosos. I don't like it. And for a kid that's got so much talent, he could do really well at 140 if he sticks to what a good plan should be and stops, you know, get his head out of the fucking clouds thinking that he's the best of his era when he hasn't proven it. He hasn't fought a lot of guys, you know.
It's like when he fought Lomachenko, they came in with a plan.
Yeah.
You know, they didn't come in just looking to blast the guy out. They had a plan, and it was well thought out, and it was effective. But against Kambosos, they did the exact opposite. It was just all emotion.
Yeah.
They didn't bring anything else but emotion, man, and they fell on their faces.
Yep. Big time. Pretty much got what they deserved, eh? So
they did, man. They did. Hey, I've just looked at Boxing Rec. Kambosos Jr. is penciled in to fight Haney on the 16th to the 10th.
Has it got a venue?
Rod Laver Arena, Melbourne.
Oh, that is going to be in Australia. See, I was hearing that the Australian government didn't want to put any money up for the second one because it was so shit the first time.
Yeah, but yeah, Rod Laver Arena, Melbourne, scheduled bout subject to change and commission approval, but all 4 belts are on the line, and yeah, it looks like it's. And then probably the winner will fight Lomachenko early
I'd
next
say
year.
so.
Probably. Yeah.
Well, I think both of them. The winner is tied into Top Rank for the next 2 fights anyway, including this one.
Yeah.
So, who else would it be? You know, it's only going to be Lomachenko for the winner.
Got to be Loma. So that gives Loma an opportunity to have a warm-up fight beforehand.
It does.
Which is good.
It does. Let me just see who else is on this TO card.
And Kambosos will get some cash up money and can walk away.
Yep. Yeah, well, he would have had a guaranteed person as rematch contract anyway, so it is what it is. Right. T.O. Lopez. There's a few fights on this card this weekend. Of course, it's on ESPN in the US and ESPN Plus. The co-main event is Andreas Cortez, who is 17-0, fighting in an 8-rounder against Abraham Montoya, who's 20-3. That is a super featherweight fight. Next one down, we've got this guy, Xander Zayas. I enjoy watching this kid. The next big thing out of Puerto Rico, Xander Zayas. He's 13-0. He's fighting in an 8-rounder against Ellis how do we say this one? Espadez, who's 22-4, and that's a super welterweight fight. So 154. Keep an eye out for this Xander Zayas kid.
I know the name, I think I've seen him fight once, but I just can't. I can't remember.
You would have seen him more than that. He's been on a fair few top ranked cards, usually 6-rounders, couple of 8-rounders. I think he's fought, but he's really good, man. He's going to be the next thing out of Puerto Rico by the looks of it. There's another fight here. Wow, that's Jose. I'll just say the first and last names because he's 4 names. Jose Vivas. He is 21-2. He's taking on Eddie Murado, who's 19-7. That's another featherweight fight. Oh, we've got a middleweight fight on here too. A little bit bigger and more interesting. Oh, Troy Isley. He was an Olympian. I remember watching him. He's 6-0 in a 6-rounder against Victor Tony. Don't know who Victor Tony is, but he's 6-1 with 1 draw. That one could be worth a look too. But the rest of the fights down there are featherweight, super lightweight, what's that say? Widgets. What the hell? That's not a weight division? Oh no, that's not even a fight. Okay. Yeah. So that's the top rank card. I don't think there's a hell of a lot else that's on televised this weekend. I don't think there's any DAZN show.
No, you just got the what's the next one on DAZN? It'll be Alvarez and Triple G. I'm not sure when that is.
So it's September 5th or something like that. It's like Canelo usually fights on Cinco de Mayo weekend. Oh no, that's in May, isn't it? Cinco de Mayo. Let's have a look. I think that's a weekend that's right next to the Parker Joyce fight, that one actually. So that one is on the 17th of September.
September's busy, eh?
It is.
You got Savannah Marshall, you got Triple G and Alvarez, you got Parker and Joyce. It's going to be a good month.
Yeah. Oh, we've got this kid Jose Rodriguez Franco. He beat Saul Rungvisai last time out. He's going to be on that Triple G card. He's one to look out for as well. Jesse Rodriguez, sorry. Who else is on this card? Akhmedov, Austin Williams, Diego Pacheco, Mark Castro. Shit, this card's loaded. Nice. Should be for a pay-per-view. Who are the opponents? Oh, Gabe Rosado. Ha! So, Ali Akhmedov. I can never get these foreign names right.
Yeah.
Akhmedov. Ali Akhmedov, who's 18-1, is taking on old Gabe Rosado. He's 26-15 these days. Gabe doesn't want that rematch with Beck the Bully. Just to stay the further away from that one. Austin Williams is taking on Kieran Conway. That'll be a decent fight. Man, there's some good matchups on that card. But yeah, that's September 17th. What date was Joseph Parker one on? That was, I thought it was September
24th. 24th,
Okay,
I think.
so that's the following weekend after.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Going to be a great month, man. Savannah Marshall on the 10th. And then Triple G and Canelo on the 17th, and then Parker on the next week. So, yeah.
3 weeks in a row. Shit, hot, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, man.
Awesome as. Right, so before we finish up, I guess have a quick look through and see what other news there was. Here we go. Joe Joyce will aim to stop Joseph Parker. Vows to keep the KO streak going. Oh, he's got to say that, doesn't he?
Yeah.
He's got to say that. But I'm sure if he's going to try for the knockout, it might not come. You know what they
That's
say?
right. Yeah.
Don't go looking for it. It'll come when it's supposed to come. If you just do your work, do what you're meant to do, follow the plan, it might come. Tyson Fury continues to pursue Derek Chisora trilogy. Dickhead.
That's a joke, eh? That's just a joke. If he does fight Chisora a third time and he doesn't face AJ or Usyk, he's diminishing himself.
Yeah.
He really is, man.
We got here Keith Thurman on Conor Benn. Send me a contract, legitimate payday. Yeah, typical. We'll fight in the UK. So how's Uncle Al going to let him go to another platform? Fucking dreaming. Yeah. Shields. Marshall, full undercard set for... Okay, there's... The full undercard is announced. Better go look at what else is on that card then. ANAH. So no muscle box rig. There we go. That should show me. Hit the event, and what do we got? Yeah, we got the two women's fights at the top of the card. Michaela Mayer, Alicia Baumgardner, Clarissa Shields, and Savannah Marshall. That isn't actually the main. The Michaela Mayer and Baumgardner one looks like it's the main event.
Oh, yeah.
Interesting. Caroline Dubois, Daniel Dubois' little sister is on there.
All female card, is it?
It's looking like it. Yeah, it's all female card. All 10 2-minute rounds. Wow. I've never seen that before.
They're taking a gamble, seeing how it goes.
Yeah. Shannon Ryan, Sarah. Who else have we got on here? Someone that I know. Oh, April Hunter. I've heard of her. Is that Virgil Hunter's sister or daughter, maybe. I'm not sure about that. What else have we got? Should have some of these Aussie chicks on here, but I haven't seen them yet. Our prize. No Ebony Bridges. There's 2 Aussie chicks in the same division that I want to see fight. One of them's Ebony Bridges, and I can't remember the other one's name. Honestly, I'm not very educated at all in women's boxing, and I'm only really interested in the bigger fights, like the top couple on that card.
Yeah, me too. I'm like that. I really enjoyed Katie Taylor's fight with is it Serrano?
Yeah.
That last one she had, that was good. I really enjoyed that. And I enjoy the Savannah Marshall one, but yeah, I only tend to watch the big stuff.
Yeah. Even that Delphine Pursoon and Katie Taylor was pretty good. Yeah. There was a decent one on the weekend, actually. Marlon Esparza taking on, I can't remember the first name, someone Guzman. This Guzman chick should be fighting at minimum weight. They're fighting at 112, I think. And Esparza, being an Olympian and was supposed to be the massive A-side, was supposed to steamroll this chick, but this Guzman chick fought back and was getting some of her own back and was doing actually quite well. It was a bit of a surprise. So the odd one now and then I'll sit and watch if it's interesting. But for reals, we don't see that many knockouts in women's boxing, so I like the brutality. We just don't get as much of that in women's boxing.
Yeah, there was only one. I saw one fight. There was a terrible KO. The woman was so mismatched, and this chick just walked over to her and just went smash and absolutely poleaxed her. It was actually it was too much of a mismatch. It was quite controversial. I can't remember who it was. It's probably about a year ago.
I might have a vague memory of the one you're thinking of.
Yeah,
Did the chick get smacked over and bounced off the ropes?
I think, and then onto the floor. So it was bad, man. It was really bad. Yeah.
Yeah. Some of them shouldn't be sanctioned if they're that much of a gap in class. It's dangerous. And I guess it's a bit of that feeling like a lot of referees will stop a woman's fight because they're women and nobody likes to see women get bashed around like some of them do.
Well, that's I've had conversations to people about it, and I said some people, the woman should be fighting 12 3-minute rounds. We want to see more knockouts. Well, what people are not factoring in, boxing is always under pressure over fighters dying. Now, It's one thing to watch a guy die. It's another thing to watch a pretty girl die.
Yeah,
it is not a good advertisement for the sport when they're taking women out of the ring dying. Or you've got women sitting at a press conference who can't string together a sentence because they've taken so many shots to the head. People don't understand that, man. People will tolerate a guy taking a hammering more than they will a woman.
Definitely. It's like going to war. You send the men, you don't send the women and children.
Mate. You just don't.
And then there's the other side of the argument as well. What about equality and women should get paid as much as men because they can be just as exciting if they're given the opportunity and all this as well. There's two sides to the argument, but when you look at the general view of it, you're going to get maybe 70 to 80% of people don't want to see a woman bashed up like a man gets bashed up.
Yeah, they don't, hey? They just don't want to see it, mate. No, it's not normal. It's just not normal.
It is what it is. Our society is what it is, and we can't really change it. It's just how it is.
Yeah, man.
So, yeah. Anyways, I guess
that's about us.
Thinking about closing it down, I can't think of anything else. There's nothing else you wanted to touch on there, bro?
No, that's about it. I'm going to go and grab some lunch.
All goods. All right, well, you take it easy. Thank you very much for popping in.
Good, man.
The Prediction League picks are up if you want to go and get that done. It's an early deadline this week because there's some Friday fights in the US.
Oh, okay, cool.
Just be aware of that. But, yeah, appreciate you jumping on, man. We'll catch you
Cool,
next time.
Jono. I'll talk to you next time, man. Sweet, mate.
Okay, bro. See
See
you,
ya.
man. And that's about us for today. Let's see if I can put the outro on without me messing things up here. Give me a sec. What do we do here? Okay, we click on that and we go bada bing, bada boom. We go find it. And here we go. We'll catch you all next time. Take it easy.
That's us for today. I hope you have enjoyed. You can show your appreciation with a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Be sure to check out our Discord community where you can find boxing news, fight links, live streamed fights, and much more. So look after yourself and your family. I'm Jono from Big Boys Boxing, and I'm out. See you!